Hi there. Today I will show you how to conjugate the verb estar. The verb estar, you spell it E-S-T-A-R. Okay? The verb estar corresponds to the verb to be in English. However, as I mentioned before in one of our first lessons, the verb to be corresponds to two different Spanish verbs. Those are the verbs ser and the verb estar, right? So I mentioned before in a lesson, I gave a deeper explanation on which are the differences between the verbs estar and the verb ser. Briefly now, let me tell you again. For example, if we say I am Rodrigo, right? I am a man. There we use the verb ser in Spanish, okay? We would say yo soy Rodrigo. Yo soy un hombre, okay? However, if we want to say a state, something that is not a permanent state or situation, something that can change, right? For example, I am happy, right? I am happy. Now I'm happy, later I may not be happy anymore, right? So that verb to be in Spanish, you use the verb estar, right? Not the verb ser anymore. So you would say, yo estoy contento. I am happy, right? Or for example, another thing, something that is a state that is not permanent. For example, I am running, okay? We would say, yo estoy corriendo, right? So that's briefly, again, I'm repeating what I taught in one of our first lessons regarding the differences between the verbs ser and estar, although they both translate in English into the verb to be, right? It's something like to make and to do, right? In English, these two verbs mean something similar, but in different situations you have to use either one or the other, right? You use either to make or to do. Yes? In Spanish we have only one verb that corresponds to those two verbs, so it makes it easier. It's the verb hacer, right? But here it's the other way around. The English verb to be has two Spanish verbs that mean the same thing, right? So we need to be aware of when we need to use one or the other. When we use verb ser, that we saw in the previous lessons, and the verb estar. So let's begin with the conjugation of verb estar in present tense, okay? In tiempo presente. Presente is present. Yo estoy. Yo estoy means I am. Tú estás, for you are. Él está, or ella está. He is or she is. Nosotros estamos. We are. Vosotros estáis. You are, you plural. Ustedes están. You are again, right? Remember that vosotros is as it's spoken in Spain, and ustedes, that's how they speak in Latin America, okay? So vosotros and ustedes are synonyms, they mean the same thing, only that this one is used in Spain, this one is used in Latin America, and they are both correct. Ellos están means they are. Okay, let's go. Again, let me be redundant and repeat this again. Vosotros and ustedes are synonyms, but the conjugation of ustedes for ustedes is always exactly the same as the conjugation for ellos or they, okay? You can see están, están, they are the same. This applies always for all the verbal tenses and for all the verbs in the Spanish language, okay? These two conjugate the same. Okay, in the past, right? Pasado, 3 syllables, pasado, pasado. Yo estuve, tú estuviste, él o ella estuvo, nosotros estuvimos, vosotros estuvisteis, ustedes estuvieron, and ellos estuvieron, right? Is this one difficult? Estuvisteis, vosotros estuvisteis, you were, right? That's the translation. Okay, this is the past for the verb estar, so you really need to try to remember this conjugation. And the difficult thing in Spanish is that there is one different conjugation for every single person, right? For every subject pronoun, yes? So, and these actually are irregular verbs, so you have to really memorize them. Let's take a look at the future tense, and this is the future that I teach you first because it's the one that's more similar to the English future, right? In English we use an auxiliary verb to will to make the future, right? To build the future tense. In this future, what I call future one, we also use a auxiliary verb to build the future, right? The future tense. In this case it's the verb to go. Verb to go in Spanish is ir, right? To go. Since to go is an irregular verb in Spanish, verb ir, it conjugates like this. And you see, it's quite different. It begins with a, sorry, yeah, you see it begins with a V, right? So quite different than the root of the verb, that is this. So let's begin with the future. Yo voy a estar. This means I will be. I will be, right? This a means to, but this is a necessary word for building the future in Spanish, right? It would be like saying I am going to be, right? So this is the structure for building the future. Yo voy a estar. As you can see, we conjugate the verb ir or to go, right? And later the verb that we are trying to conjugate, in this case estar, will go in the infinitive, okay? So let's go. Yo voy a estar. Tú vas a estar. Tú vas a estar. You will be. Él va a estar. Or ella va a estar. He will be or she will be. Nosotros vamos a estar. We will be. Vosotros vais a estar. You will be. Ustedes van a estar. You will be. Latin America. And ellos van a estar. They will be. Now this is the other future tense in Spanish, right? Both are future. This is the typical future tense in Spanish. And this is the one, another way of saying building the future that's similar to English. Let's see this one. although I expect it will be easier for you to continue using this one, okay? Yo estaré, tú estarás, él estará, or ella estará, nosotros estaremos, vosotros estaréis, ustedes estarán, ellos estarán, ellos estarán, they will be, okay? So, again, yo estaré, tú estarás, él estará, nosotros estaremos, vosotros estaréis, ustedes estarán, ellos estarán. Okay? So here we have the most frequent, the most used verbal tenses in Spanish for the verb estar, okay? Spanish has many more conjugations, right? But these are the most basic ones. So instead of confusing you with more verbal tenses right now, I will just focus on present, past, simple present, simple past, and future, okay? So this is the end of this lesson, and next time I will show you some sentences, some examples where we can use some of these tenses in some sentences, okay? So I see you next time.